UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen has been outspoken about amateurism in sports in the past. He spoke to Bleacher Report about the conflict between being a student and a football player. Rosen said, "Look, at football and school don't go together. They just don't. Trying to do both is like trying to do two full-time jobs. There are guys who have no business being in school, but they're here because this is the path to the NFL. There's no other way. Then there's the other side that says raise the SAT eligibility requirements. Okay, raise the SAT requirements at Alabama and see what kind of team they have. You lose athletes, then the production on the field suffers." We're joined once again by Ryan Leaf. Ryan, does Josh Rosen have a point?
He does. I think that the amateurism part, there's a point to it. I think when he says something like, you know, a path to the NFL, there's truth in that. You have to go to school. You have to be out of high school for 3 seasons or 3 years to be eligible to play in the NFL. This has been documented with the Claret and I think Williams' situation here at USC. They tried to and weren't able to do it. So there's truth in that. The part where it loses me a bit is that he starts talking about Alabama. I think that a lot of people stopped listening to what he had to say when he started kind of taking a shot at Western Alabama and what it takes to get into school there. And I can tell you right now that my SAT scores weren't great, but I was recruited and accepted to both UCLA and university similar to Alabama. So it's a question about, he's advocating for a player is what he's doing. He's advocating for his collegiate teammates, and it may not come across that way because it's sensationalized in a way by the media that makes it more controversial.
By the way, you're a smart guy, so coming out of high school, you got recruited by you got recruited as a linebacker, right, by University of Miami?
Tight end and linebacker.
Tight end and linebacker. So he had the whole package. So did you have aspirations? Were you thinking, I'm going to the National Football League as a senior in high school?
Yes. Yeah, that was the goal.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was an achievable goal, really. It just was this fantasy of a young man from Montana who wanted to do what he saw Terry Bradshaw doing every weekend. And that was my goal. And the pathway was through Washington State, who had produced NFL quarterbacks.
Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah. Drew Bledsoe, Tim Rosenbaum, Mark Rippon, guys like that. So that was my plan. And I think that you do. But I got my degree. You know.
Did you care about school?
My GPA was much lower during season than it was out of season. I can tell you that. I was focused on football, and the production in the classroom showed. So I can get his point of how they don't go together. But I think it's a great opportunity for young men to learn how to balance their lives, because football's not going to last. The average length in the NFL career is 3.8 years. And I played 5, and I'm considered a bust. So I think that you can really look at that and go, oh, that makes sense that I have something in place, and that's what an education does. A scholarship is given to you to get a free education. My brother did that at the University of Oregon. He looked at it as like, I'm going to get a free education. I may not be able to play football down the line, but I get to go play a sport I love and get a free education, and which will set me up for life and not cause my family to have to suffer financially because of how expensive college tuition is these days.
Actually, my grades probably was higher during football season than they were.
Oh, but that's just you.
But no, you know why, Skip? Because I didn't want to feed into the stereotype. Skip, when I went to Savannah State, I was in all developmental study classes, which means I could take no classes towards graduating. So I had to get out of all. Yes, Skip, when I told you now.
Because of
my grades.
Your grades or your test scores?
Both of them.
All right.
I needed a crane to pull them grades up, Skip. And they didn't have any cranes at Savannah State. So that's where I was.
See, I don't get it because you're a really smart guy.
Skip, I was
Did you not apply yourself?
I did not apply myself, Skip. And so I was in all developmental study classes. And there were a lot of guys at Savannah State that were in developmental study classes. But they were embarrassed, Skip, because that was like, oh, you're dumb. I knew I wasn't dumb. And Dr. Joyce McLemore, she told me, she said, Mr. Sharp, I don't want to see you in here next quarter. She said, you have no business in this class. So I worked my butt off, Skip, but I also understood that although that was the first year of Prop 48 because of what happened at the University of Georgia, so they really cracked down on it. But I knew my football ability got me in school. My academics was going to keep me playing. And if it came down to choice, Skip, between football and school, I was choosing football because I can make up that test. I can't make up a game. So that's the way I approached it. But I prepared myself. But I understood, Skip, from the time I was about 12 years old, the only thing I thought about was playing in the National Football League. I didn't care what position. I said, I'm playing in the National Football League. And I understood.
But you had a role model ahead of you who was your
Yes.
big brother who
and
was doing it.
Yes,
He was-
he was too. I was a sophomore in college when I was going to be a junior when he got drafted 7 overall to the Green Bay Packers. But I knew that was going to be the path that I wanted to take. And he went to a big university, and I went to Savannah State, and that was the best decision of my life. But Skip, it is hard because I got football practice, then I got to run to lunch, and then I got study hall, and I still got to prepare for these classes at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So it's not an easy task. And so that's why if I'm an evaluator of NFL talent, I'm looking at the guy. I'm looking, okay, he a good player. What did he do with his time? How close is he to graduating? You mean to tell me you stayed there 4 years and you still as far from graduating as you did when you went there? I'm gonna be a little concerned about that, Skip, because you have so much free time as a professional athlete. Your time is not managed for you like it is in college. In the NFL, you're on your own. You pay all your bills. You got to rise and shine. There's nobody coming to look after you. Well, maybe if you go to the Cowboys, Jerry gonna always have somebody to go look after his player. But Skip, I get what he's saying. It is tough, and we keep saying, because as you said, the amateurism of it, we say student athlete. They're athlete students.
I just don't love the generalizing, the stereotyping that Josh Rosen just dismisses. Where and I don't know what the percentage is, but there are kids who have NFL or NBA aspirations who also can still be good students just because they want to be.
Correct.
Just in their bloodline or their drive. They just want to do that. And it's possible to do it. You just can't party, man. I mean, you got to lock down because you are effectively working 2 jobs at once, which is not impossible if you want to do it. You can also go back and get your degree. And a number of people have done that. There's no law. There you go, right? There you go. Yeah. There's no law, and it's free, right? They gave it to you.
No,
so
I had to pay.
You had to pay?
Yeah,
I had to pay.
Now it's grandfathered in where they'll actually pay for it. Now, the NFL will actually pay for your college tuition.
Yeah, I had to pay, Skip.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
But I say go back early because it gets
I
harder.
thought you were hallowed there. I thought you were like in the State Hall
They
of
still
Fame.
accept money.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so they thought you could afford.
Yeah,
to.
I think that was the big part of it.
But if this president would have been the president we have now, he took care of me.
She would
He would
take
take
care of you. Okay, so in the big picture, I get what he's saying, because look, if you raise the SAT requirements across the board uniformly, and you raise them at my school, Vanderbilt, and at Duke, and Notre Dame, and Stanford, it would hurt everybody.
Right.
Now, theirs are already pretty high to start with.
Right.
But if you raised all the quote-unquote just sort of public schools, everybody would get hurt, in part because some kids just don't test well.
Right.
It's just hard. It's like the wrong requirement, because you can have really good grades right here, but don't test. Okay? But why is that? Do you get nervous for the test? You might.
I don't know. My brain just doesn't work that way.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't like rules.
Should that
There's too many rules in these tests.
Okay. Should that disqualify you from going to college?
It didn't.
No.
If they had timetables, Skip, I'd have got a perfect score. Once we got past timetables, me and math, we didn't mix anymore.
Timetable.
Yeah, once we got 12 times 12, once we got past that, because we didn't go to 13 and 14, but once we got past that, and I tried to find me a major, what can I get a degree in where I have to do the least amount of math possible?
Broadcast journalism.
Yeah.
Criminal justice.
Yeah. Washington State. Yes, broadcast journalism. So,
Did it work?
I just didn't utilize it until I'm 40. So.
I
You're
think
using it now.
I think you learned a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, look, bottom line, what he's talking about, it's a crime that these kids aren't paid for what they do. And I don't know if it'll ever change, because they are selling to their boosters amateur athletics, student athletes. As you say, it's really athletes, students.
Yeah.
But they're selling this because they put ivy around it, and it's like the mystique of these kids go to the same classrooms that you went to when you were there. Baloney, they do, but that's what sells on Saturday.
Right.
So I don't see it changing anytime soon, and I still say it's a crime, especially if the football players have to give their bodies up for 3 or 4 years, or sometimes 5 years, before they go to the NFL, and they're damaged goods by the time they get to the...
And if a regular student, if they make some discovery as a freshman, guess what they can do, Skip? They can leave, go sell it. Or if I'm a classical trained pianist, or I can play the tuba or the saxophone, I can go leave. But as an athlete, as a football player, I don't get those luxuries.
Yeah.
I don't care how great I am. I can rush for 2,500 yards on 15 carries. I got to stay for 2 more years.
You do. And then the final crime is that the rules prevent you from even having a job
Yes.
on the side while you're a student athlete.
Didn't
I
we
would
ju-
try to
didn't-
work anyway.
Didn't we just see that from the young man down at, was it
UCF.
UCF,
Yeah.
right? He had a YouTube channel that was
Oh,
a monetary
can't do that.
situation, and
Nope.
now he cannot be able to play football anymore. You know, the answer for me on this, and this is, I've thought about this a lot from the amateurism side, the scholarship you receive is, I think, payment enough. Now, when your likeness and when they're using you for advertising and marketing, which the NCAA does, as well as your university, that money goes into a trust that you get upon graduation. Because if you do not graduate because you're going to go play professionally, you don't necessarily need that.
Oh, I need it. And if they sell jerseys, what about the jersey sales?
Yeah,
they sell a lot of Lamar Jackson jerseys at Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there should be some way that they could.
Yeah, I need my money. I need all that.
Yeah.
We gotta leave it there. Has Andrew Luck's career been a success or failure so far? We'll debate that next.